Hello Internet, welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the very first time. In case you're new here, quick little intro. My name is Matthew Vandeputte. I'm a time-lapse and hyperlapse photographer from Belgium. I live in Sydney, Australia. This channel is all about time-lapse travel and teaching, and today I'm going to teach you how to do this. Oh, there we go. A great addition to Canon cameras has been the time-lapse movie mode. The first DSLR that got that function was the 5DS and the 5DSR a couple years ago. Fun little anecdote, I was part of the ad for that in Australia on YouTube, which was quite the fun shoot. A time-lapse is classically shot as a series of still photographs that you later on compile into a video file using specialized software. Now, recently, with this time-lapse movie mode, the camera actually creates the video file for you. The benefit of this is that you immediately get your video file and there's no post-processing necessary. The downside of it is that you are usually limited in resolution and dynamic range, and you can't really post-process that video file as much as you would be able to with a series of raw stills. Now, about that resolution, in the 6DMkII that you see here that I made the Australian launch content for, which I'm very proud of, by the way, Canon has implemented 4K movie time-lapse 4K time-lapse movie mode. Time-lapse movie mode in 4K resolution, meaning you get 4 times as many pixels in your video file. In the world of time-lapse, there's a shot called the Holy Grail, which is a shot where instead of having a static exposure like during the day or night, you're confronted with a change in exposure and thus a change in settings while you are shooting. I've made a couple of tutorials on a number of ways that you can tackle this problem in the past. You can find those in my tutorial playlist. One of the most exciting additions to Canon cameras in the recent years for me personally is hidden inside the time-lapse movie mode menu, and it's called auto exposure each frame. And what this does is it measures every frame before it shoots it. In a gradual way it will adjust your settings for you, so you're going from a dark scene to a bright scene like a sunrise, or a bright scene to a dark scene like a sunset, and it'll gradually change the exposure settings without it jumping up or down in exposure. I've tested this, it works really well. I'm incredibly excited about this because the Holy Grail shot is no longer a Holy Grail, it's now a plug and play. You can set up the camera and just let it run and watch a movie, and that's exactly what I did with this shot. I'm gonna run you through the settings that I used so you can apply those to your camera to get the best results. First up, possibly surprisingly, flick your camera's mode dial to AV or aperture priority mode. Then flick it to video mode, go into the menu and go to time-lapse movie, enable it in 4K or HD, however you want it. For the interval, which is how frequently the camera will take a photo, I went with 6 seconds for this shot, but you can go with any value really. For the number of shots, I like putting in a few more than necessary. This way your sequence doesn't stop short from finishing. You can always finish the sequence before it's done anyway. Now here's the golden bit, select auto exposure each frame. Enable LCD auto off to save some battery while you're shooting, and my beep is off because it annoys me to bits. Go out of the menu by half pressing your shutter button, turn your lens to manual focus and take a test shot. Make sure that your ISO is set to auto. Because we're shooting in aperture priority mode, the aperture will stay the same, but your shutter speed and your ISO will change during the sequence. Press start to enable the time-lapse mode and hit the shutter button to start recording. Then you just let it run for as long as you want it. It's good to check how long it'll run beforehand and maybe set an alarm on your phone. If you want to check the camera while it's running, be careful to not bump it as it's shooting. You can hit the info button to show the LCD screen and show you how many shots you've got left. When you want to stop shooting and the camera is still running, hit the shutter button to stop the sequence. What you end up with is the fastest way to create a Holy Grail time-lapse, and that's just mind-blowing to me. Now here are a couple of thoughts. When you play back the 4K video on the camera, the playback is choppy. I assume that the read speed in the camera or the internal bus of the SD card isn't fast enough to process the bitrate that comes out of the video file. Unfortunately, with this method, you can't ramp or change the white balance during the sequence, meaning if you set your white balance on daylight, you will end up with a daylight night shot, which is not the way I like it. I like my night shots in the fluorescent white balance. When you're shooting a sunset, the exposure at first is 0 EV, which is fine, but a nighttime shot at 0 EV is usually overexposed. A nighttime shot, in my opinion, should always be a bit underexposed because that's not how we perceive the night shot. So unfortunately, that's something you can't ramp down to -1 EV either. Now, you could kind of try and color grade that in post-production, but yeah, again, this is kind of the plug-and-play version, which means that you have to compromise somewhere. If you want full control and you want to be able to ramp everything, I suggest the manual LR time-lapse method, which is a subject for a future video. And just like that, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, drop them in the comment section down below. If you want to support the channel, you can come check me out on patreon.com/matjoez, or come say hi on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at matjoez on pretty much any social media platform. Before I go off on a massive ramble, there's nothing left to add. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Goodbye. Righty, final image test. Today we're talking about time-lapse, and this is a test, so I can say whatever the F I want. I'm already sweating. Welcome back to wow. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the very first time. Let's do that again. Now, I'm fucking already sweating. That's not great. Woo. I need a sweat rag. God damn it. Sydney, it is... Hey Google, what's the humidity today?
The humidity today in Edgecliff is forecast to be 92%.
Yeah, that's 92% humidity on my face right now. God damn. And I've got a few of those methods. Come on, man. Come on, man. Keep it. Now, no longer now. Fuck. Come on, man. A holy grail shot without having to do anything. No. Fuck me. Take 90. When I saw this function mode hid... Oh my god. Sweaty bow. Sweaty bow. Sweaty boy. Sweaty boy. Here we go, baby. In the most recent years, that doesn't even make sense. Does that make sense? I'm sweating so much. Fuck.